Welcome to Lloyd's Landing. This is basically a retirement facility for our pedigree birds. We'll bring customers out here to show them the pedigree stock. This house was built in probably about all 3 days. As we walk through, we have a blind to keep any of the birds from being startled as we pull up with any vehicles or anything like that. Once we walk into the house, it's set up, modeled after house number 91, our first house we remodeled. We do have an opening door that we let the birds out with. Once it's locked and secure, no predators can get in at night. The LED lighting, all off solar. So we tried to incorporate every natural tree fall, anything that we could in their pen, and live out the rest of their life. This is where these birds will be for the rest of their life. To me, that's beautiful.
Well, what we're doing now is setting up a little demonstration area, and it's kind of isolated here so we don't have to risk exposing our birds to too much interruption or too much risk of disease being carried in by our guests, and get a sense of what we're doing with the breeding of these birds, because they are definitely different from the normal broiler that you're going to find in 99% of the stores. Over the last 50 years or so, a typical broiler was bred purely for reduced cost of production. So they grew faster and had more meat on them. And actually the bird is not really designed to do that. It's designed to first of all build a frame, then to put on muscle, and eventually to put on some fat. But the typical broiler today just try to do all those phases of growth simultaneously. And it's pretty much biologically impossible to do that without some defects cropping up, like bones being deformed and joints being deformed, and the birds being in pain actually trying to move around. But our birds are not been bred that way. They've been selected to grow in their frame first, then to put on muscle, and finally to put on some fat, so they've got some flavor in there. So that's basically the difference between our bird and everybody else's. And because they are chickens, they do like to go out and forage, and they don't have the handicap of being in pain while they're doing it. They'll be running around, flying, jumping up and down, which is very atypical of a typical broiler in 2019.